Welcome to today's deep dive. For this session, our source material is a really comprehensive research report on the Command & Conquer franchise.
Yeah, an absolute classic.
Right. And our mission today is to figure out exactly how this iconic series practically invented the modern real-time strategy genre and how it somehow survived decades of intense corporate chaos.
Which is a pretty wild story on its own.
Okay, let's unpack this. Looking at the early days, Westwood Studios started in the 80s, mostly doing game ports, but then in 1992, they released Dune 2.
The game that basically created the modern RTS blueprint.
Exactly. We're talking about that core loop of base construction and resource harvesting that you see in, well, almost every strategy game today.
And what's fascinating here is why that evolution matters. They took that exact blueprint for their own original game, but the initial concept wasn't military at all.
Oh, right. It was fantasy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was called Command & Conquer. It was originally pitched as a high fantasy strategy epic with wizards and magical beasts. But then a massive pivot happened.
Driven by the studio's co-founder. He was really inspired by the first Gulf War.
Right. He predicted that future conflicts wouldn't be nation-states fighting, but Western societies facing decentralized terror groups. That prescient shift is exactly what gives us the Global Defense Initiative and the Brotherhood of Nod.
Which is just crazy because they had to bring that ambitious geopolitical world to life on an absolute shoestring budget.
A literal shoestring budget.
I mean, I was really geeking out over the production details,
Right.
The famous full-motion video cutscenes. They filmed those by literally stapling green-painted linoleum to a warehouse wall.
Just grabbing staff on a whim to act.
Yeah, the video director just stepped in and became the iconic cult leader, Kane.
Just because he was a natural fit in front of the camera. But, that resourceful ingenuity completely defined the mechanical architecture, too.
So wait, if I'm playing this and I'm not managing 5 bases at once like in StarCraft, what am I actually doing as a player?
You are playing what they designed as a much more accessible beer and pretzel RTS. It relied heavily on a unique, single-threaded construction queue housed entirely in the sidebar UI.
Meaning you could only build one thing at a time.
Precisely. You combine that with a real-time streaming economy where your harvesters constantly trickle in funds.
Instead of getting massive lump sums.
Right. So every single building placement becomes a definitive, weighty, tactical choice.
You really have to commit to your strategy. And you're doing all this while soaking in that legendary auditory atmosphere. I mean, composer Frank Klepacki's Rocktronic sound completely defined the gritty vibe.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially that heavy metal Hell March track from Red Alert. The driving bass, the military boot stomps hit makes you feel like you are sitting right in the middle of a war zone.
It is brilliant sound design. But despite defining a genre, the franchise suffered a pretty severe institutional downfall. EA acquired Westwood in 1998.
And the corporate pressure really started mounting over time.
Yeah, culminating in 2010 with Tiberian Twilight. They completely stripped away the base building.
Why would they do that if it was the mechanical core of the whole franchise?
They were chasing the emerging MOBA trend. They wanted the League of Legends audience where you control a single hero. And by removing base building, they alienated the entire fan base overnight.
It is wild how fast a giant corporation can lose the plot. But the community's triumph here is what I love. Dedicated fans just refuse to let the game die.
Building open source engines from scratch?
Right, like OpenRA and CNET. They modernized the netcode and the UI so you can play these masterpieces today without jumping through hoops. So what does this all mean?
It means Command & Conquer was way more than just a game.
Exactly. It was a cultural artifact, proving strategy games could be highly cinematic. The Westwood formula left a permanent legacy.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it leaves you with a really provocative thought to ponder. As the 30th anniversary approaches in 2025, there are rumors of EA attempting a second remaster for Tiberian Sun.
Which sounds like a huge technical nightmare.
It really is. Will they actually be able to overcome the massive hurdle of upscaling original voxel-based assets and piecing together lost source code? Or is the ultimate fate of this legendary IP permanently in the hands of open-source modders?